There are moments in life when the weight of silence feels heavier than any noise, when the absence of people around you makes the world seem colder and emptier. Being alone is one of the deepest challenges that every human being faces at some point, and in that space of solitude you are confronted not with the voices of others, but with the voice within. It is in those quiet hours that the mind begins to question, to doubt, and to wonder if you are strong enough to keep going without the comfort of a hand to hold or a shoulder to lean on. Yet within this challenge lies an extraordinary opportunity, because it is in the seasons of aloneness that the roots of true strength are formed. Many people run from solitude because they believe that their worth is validated by the presence of others. But the truth is that the foundation of your strength is built when no one else is watching. When the crowd is gone and the applause has faded, it is your inner resilience that must rise to carry you forward. Aloneness can feel like a storm, stripping away all that is familiar, leaving you vulnerable and exposed. But storms are also where hidden power is revealed. Just as trees grow deeper roots when the winds are strongest, the human spirit digs deeper into courage and conviction when life demands endurance without external support. This is the place where you begin to understand yourself beyond labels, beyond expectations, beyond the need for constant approval. Alone, you learn that your value does not shrink because others fail to see it, and your strength does not diminish because no one else recognizes it. Standing strong when you are alone is not about shutting out the world, but about discovering the unshakable foundation within yourself. It is about realizing that you are never truly empty, because within you lives a well of strength, wisdom, and faith that only becomes visible when everything else is stripped away. In these moments, you come to see solitude not as a curse, but as a sacred space where your true self is revealed. It is here, in the quiet battles no one else sees, that the greatest victories of your life are won. Embracing solitude as an opportunity for self-discovery and inner growth is one of the most powerful choices you can make when you find yourself alone. Too often, people see being alone as a weakness or a punishment, something to be avoided at all costs. They chase after noise, distractions, and crowds to escape the silence of their own company. But solitude, when viewed with the right perspective, is not emptiness but fullness. It is a space where you can finally hear the voice of your own heart without interference, a place where clarity begins to emerge. Instead of running from solitude, you can choose to sit with it, breathe in its stillness, and allow it to become your teacher. In solitude, you come face to face with yourself in a way that daily busyness never allows. The masks you wear for the world begin to fall away, and you are invited to look deeper into who you really are. This is where you discover strengths you didn't know you had, wounds you may need to heal, and dreams you've been too distracted to pursue. Alone, you learn how to listen to your intuition, how to hear the whispers of wisdom within you, and how to connect with your deeper purpose. Solitude is not about isolation, it is about alignment. It aligns you with your inner self and allows you to become grounded in your identity beyond the roles and expectations that others place upon you. The greatest leaders, thinkers, and visionaries throughout history have understood the value of solitude. They sought moments of aloneness not because they were weak, but because they knew that growth requires stillness, and wisdom is often born in silence. In your own life, you can use solitude to reflect on your journey, to evaluate where you are and where you want to go, and to strengthen the foundation of your mind and spirit. When you shift your perspective from fearing solitude to embracing it, everything changes. What once felt like emptiness transforms into empowerment, and what once felt like loneliness becomes a gateway to strength. Solitude gives you the gift of self-discovery, and with self-discovery comes the ability to grow into the person you were always meant to be. Building mental resilience by strengthening your mindset and controlling negative self-talk is essential if you want to stand strong when you are alone. The greatest battles in life are not fought in the world around you, but within the mind. When you are by yourself, without encouragement from others, the mind has the power either to lift you higher or to tear you down. Thoughts become louder in solitude, and if left unchecked, they can trap you in cycles of fear, doubt, and insecurity. This is why resilience begins with mastering your inner dialogue. You must learn to challenge the voice that tells you that you are not enough, to silence the whispers that say you cannot move forward, and to replace those destructive patterns with words of strength, hope, and belief. Resilience is not about denying pain or pretending that challenges do not exist. It is about acknowledging the difficulty while choosing not to be defeated by it. It is the ability to fall and still rise, to feel fear but still move forward, and to accept loneliness without letting it consume you. The way you speak to yourself during difficult times determines how you will respond to those challenges. If your self-talk is filled with negativity, you will see obstacles as walls. But if your self-talk is filled with courage, you will see those same obstacles as stepping stones. Mental resilience is built in the moments when you choose faith over fear, progress over paralysis, and discipline over despair. Developing this kind of mindset requires daily practice. Just as the body is strengthened through consistent exercise, the mind is strengthened through consistent training. Reading, reflection, affirmations, and meditation can help shift your thinking from weakness to strength. Every time you choose to redirect your focus away from self-defeating thoughts, you strengthen the muscle of resilience. Over time, this discipline creates a fortress within your mind that no external circumstance can easily break. When you build mental resilience, being alone no longer feels like a threat. It becomes a proving ground where you rise above inner doubts and discover your capacity to endure. Negative self-talk loses its grip because you have learned to replace it with empowering words that carry you through the storm. In this way, solitude transforms into strength because your mind, instead of being your enemy, becomes your greatest ally. Anchoring yourself in purpose and values is what allows you to remain unshaken when life places you in moments of solitude. When you are alone, without the encouragement of others, it is easy to drift, to feel lost, or to let circumstances push you in directions that are not aligned with who you truly are. Purpose acts as a compass, reminding you of why you are here and what you are striving toward. Values act as the foundation beneath your feet, keeping you steady when uncertainty surrounds you. Together, they provide a strength that is not dependent on outside approval or support but flows from within. Living with purpose gives your solitude meaning. When you know what your life is about, being alone is no longer wasted time. It becomes preparation, refinement, and focus. Every great achievement begins with a sense of direction, and purpose is that guiding star that keeps you moving forward even when the path is unclear. Without purpose, solitude feels like emptiness, but with purpose, solitude becomes sacred time to invest in the vision that burns within your heart. Values are equally important because they shape how you respond to challenges and temptations in moments of isolation. When no one is watching, your values are what hold you accountable. Integrity, discipline, kindness, faith, and perseverance are not just words, they are anchors that keep you grounded in truth. A person anchored in strong values does not need constant validation because their strength comes from knowing they are living in alignment with who they are meant to be. History shows us countless examples of individuals who stood alone yet never wavered because their purpose and values gave them courage. They were able to endure hardship and loneliness because they knew what they stood for. In your own life, anchoring yourself in purpose and values means defining what truly matters to you and refusing to compromise on those principles no matter the situation. When you are alone, purpose and values remind you that you are not wandering aimlessly, you are building towards something greater. They give your solitude direction and transform isolation into empowerment. With them, standing strong when you are alone becomes not only possible but powerful. Cultivating self-reliance through discipline, routines, and consistent personal development is one of the most transformative ways to stand strong when you are alone. When you are surrounded by others, it is easy to depend on their energy, their encouragement, and even their structure to keep you moving forward. But when all of that is stripped away, what remains is your ability to rely on yourself. Self-reliance does not mean you shut people out or that you never accept help, but it does mean that you build an inner system strong enough to carry you even when no one else is around to lift you. This strength is not built overnight. It is developed through discipline and intentional choices made every single day. Discipline is the foundation of self-reliance. It is the quiet decision to get up when you do not feel like it, to push forward even when no one is watching, and to commit to your goals regardless of circumstances. Discipline creates stability in moments of uncertainty because it anchors you in habits that keep you moving forward. Whether it is waking up early, staying consistent in your work, or taking care of your physical and mental health, discipline ensures that you do not crumble when life feels heavy. Routines play a critical role in maintaining strength during solitude. A routine gives structure to your days and prevents the aimlessness that often comes with being alone. When you build routines centered on growth, such as reading, exercising, journaling, or reflecting, you turn solitude into a training ground for becoming stronger. Instead of wasting time, you invested in becoming more prepared for the future. Personal development ties it all together. Growth is the result of small, consistent actions that elevate your mind, body, and spirit. By choosing to learn, to improve, and to sharpen your skills, you create a version of yourself that is equipped to thrive independently. Personal development means you do not wait for someone else to push you forward. You take ownership of your growth and fuel your own progress. When self-reliance is cultivated, solitude loses its power to intimidate. You become strong because you know that you can depend on yourself, guided by discipline, routines, and the commitment to grow. In this way, being alone is no longer a weakness, but a powerful space where your independence and resilience shine. Transforming loneliness into empowerment by finding strength in silence and spiritual connection is one of the most profound ways to remain unshaken when you are alone. Loneliness can feel heavy, almost unbearable at times, because it highlights the absence of others and amplifies the ache for companionship. But if you choose to look at it differently, loneliness can be reshaped into an opportunity for deep empowerment. The silence that once felt suffocating can become the very space where you hear the whispers of your soul and where you encounter a greater sense of purpose that transcends human presence. Silence is often misunderstood as emptiness, but in truth, silence is full. It is full of reflection, clarity, and renewal. When you allow yourself to embrace silence instead of running from it, you discover that it is not a void, but a sanctuary. In silence, your thoughts become clearer, your emotions settle, and your inner strength rises. It is in silence that you begin to realize you are not defined by who is around you, but by the power that already lives within you. Beyond silence lies the gift of spiritual connection. When you are alone, you have the chance to draw closer to something greater than yourself, whether you call it God, faith, or the higher power that guides your life. Spiritual connection fills the gaps that human presence cannot, offering peace in times of turmoil and strength in moments of weakness. It assures you that you are never truly alone, even when no one else is beside you. This awareness brings a deep sense of empowerment because it roots your strength not in fleeting circumstances, but in eternal truth. When you shift from seeing loneliness as emptiness to viewing it as empowerment, everything changes. The silence that once frightened you becomes a space of healing, and the solitude that once felt like abandonment becomes an invitation to rise higher. By embracing spiritual connection and drawing strength from silence, you transform loneliness into a well of resilience that sustains you in every season of life. This transformation allows you to stand not only strong in solitude, but radiant, because you have discovered that the power within and above you is greater than the absence around you. When life places you in moments where you must walk alone, it is not a sign of weakness, but an invitation to discover the depth of your own strength. Solitude, though challenging, can become the very place where resilience is born, where purpose is refined, and where faith grows stronger. By embracing aloneness as a season of self-discovery, by mastering the mind through resilience, by anchoring yourself in purpose and values, by cultivating self-reliance, and by transforming loneliness into empowerment, you begin to realize that standing strong in solitude is not only possible, but powerful. The silence of being alone is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of a new chapter where you rise independent, courageous, and unshakable. Thank you for taking the time to share this journey with me. I hope these words reminded you that even in your quietest moments, you are not without strength, you are not without guidance, and you are never truly without hope. Stand strong, even when you feel alone, because those are the moments that shape you into the person you were always meant to become. Until we meet again in another message, keep walking with courage, keep holding on to faith, and keep believing in the power within you to overcome every challenge.